This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
You damn right. That was Amy Daniels. Did you know that?
I did.
Yes. Yep.
You both knew it.
Oh, yeah. I can recognize that buttery voice from a mile away.
The only difference when I talk to Amy, she's always yelling at me, so it sounds a little different.
Yeah, what I hear on the show versus in office is very different.
That's exactly it.
Hi, Ty.
I just talked to her yesterday. She's a good person. I hate saying that about anybody, that they're a good person, but, Okay, fellas, we were just talking about the fact that, we're at least one generation apart, but I'm getting to the point where I don't know. This is a national story, by the way. It's not a local story. Mm-hmm. It's a national story. It's about Minnesota, and once again, Minnesota effing up everything it touches. And when did we get that everything Minnesota touches now has to be different than everywhere else? Have you noticed that?
I mean, we don't want to be like the East Coast or the West Coast. We want our own little spin on it. But yeah, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. But we tend to put a little Minnesota spin on everything.
Well, here it is. I hope nothing hurts on your body. You guys healthy? You're good? No broken bones or anything?
Today, yep.
Last time I checked, yeah.
Okay, because you ain't going to like this. If you have any malady whatsoever, Rochester, this is Rochester, New York, actually, not Rochester, Minnesota, but, those who use Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. Mm-hmm. Now, is that in Minnesota? Is Anthem in Minnesota? Blue Cross Blue Shield is, but I don't know if it's Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. What do you think?
I'm not sure what the difference is.
I don't either. I have no idea. But you are not going to like what I'm about to tell you. This is in the national news, by the way.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Those who use Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance will likely soon have to pay out of pocket for anesthesia services.
I did see this.
You did see it?
I saw part of it.
Did you see the part where if the anesthesia runs out during an operation, they are not going to give you any more anesthesia, so you're going to have to just battle through the last part of it?
Yeah, I saw that for some procedures. Some procedures that require anesthesia. If it wears off, you either have to make the call on the fly to just tough it out while they're digging inside you or whatever the case may be, or you're going to be paying basically by the minute for anesthesia, and then that comes out of the patient's pocket, not insurance.
Are you trying to tell me that the insurance companies they don't have that much money? Come on, guys. I'll take 2 shots of anesthesia. What if I want my money back then as well if after the surgery I sleep a little longer than they anticipated. I didn't sign up for all that. I wanted to be
just comfy, tucked in. He's snug as a bug. 5 more minutes, Doc.
What are we talking about? Hey, I know that your chest is open for this heart surgery. Would you like more anesthesia, sir? Yes, I would.
Now,
I would, yeah.
Tom, does it say when this article got posted or published? Because it seems very timely, giving recent events.
Right, absolutely. It's brand new.
Oh,
it's brand new. It's in today's. I don't even know where I brought this up. I believe it was in the Star Tribune this morning.
Okay.
So yeah, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket for anesthesia services if your anesthesia runs out during the operation. Should their surgeries fall outside a specific time limit? Now they're setting time limits on surgery.
Because that's what I want. My doctor rushed. Hey, I've only got this room booked for an hour, sir.
We have lost our minds. Does everybody understand, honestly? I know I used to be such an extremist. Oh, my God, he's so extreme. No, these people are going to screw us. I mean, we're going to take her deep for the rest of the time unless we do something about these psychopaths. Everything is about money now. It has nothing to do with being a doctor, helping you. No. Hey, let's get this guy or this woman through their surgery in a safe way. They don't give a rat's ass about anything but money.
Yeah, no, I don't want to hear anything about we put the patient first or anything like that.
No.
You're charging by the hour for some anesthesia. No, thank you.
But we did get lucky though, because I misread it. It's Missouri, not Minnesota. Thank God.
Oh, okay.
Woo, all right.
This applies to
my problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's there you go. That's the other part of the world now. Well, it's not my problem. I don't care. This applies to patients in New York State, Missouri, and Connecticut. How the hell? Okay, New York and Connecticut are connected. Where the hell did Missouri pop up?
Well, it rhymes with misery for a reason.
Yeah.
Ooh, very good point, actually. Officials with BCBS, Blue Cross Blue Shield, announced that this would begin with claims processed on or after February 1st, 2025. So, you got another month and a half before you're going to get stabbed in the heart. According to BCBS, we will utilize the CMS physician work time values to target the number of minutes. Work time values. I don't know if I can do this show for much longer than that 90 minutes. Let's cut it back to 88.
Yeah, that's like we're actually charging you by the minute for the microphone after.
Correct.
9:30.
I'm just thinking about like those cooking shows where they're cooking the souffle and they have a roast in the oven. They're playing. It's like, all right, 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. Hands down, utensils down, hands up, chefs, and just doctors in the OR. Just all right, we're done.
Goodbye.
Bleeding out.
I'll only read it a little bit more because it's just I will throw up if I read this whole thing. According to BCBS, Blue Cross Blue Shield, we will utilize the CMS physician work time values to target the number of minutes reported for anesthesia services. Any surgery that goes beyond the set limit will no longer be covered, and you will have to pay for it yourself. So you're working on me and watching the clock? Really? I don't like that.
And I don't I feel like if I sign up for surgery, for whatever it is, like the doctor should be the one that knows about how long this is going to take. Do I pick the amount that I don't, none of this makes any sense to me. And I can see if it was like for lower level surgeries that maybe we're wasting some anesthesia on because somebody just wants to take it. But I feel like for a major surgery, what if something goes wrong that I have no control over? Like, and are you swiping my card? Like, am I starting an anesthesia tab? Put it on my card. Put it on my tab. Like, the card's declined. Sorry, you're just going to have to puff this one. Like, this makes no sense.
You know what's going to happen because of this? And I know we got to get going here. Got to get to Judd. But what's going to happen is people are going to go into the surgery without telling anybody else. They're already high as a giraffe's ass on other drugs. And some people are going to die because of this. Because what you've already taken without telling anybody, then they give you the anesthesia. People could die from that.
Yeah, it seems awfully unsafe. This is going to open up the road to like A and B operations where it's the same thing, but do you want the scenic route or the quick route? Do you want to cut? Do you want one big slice to open up that wound, or do you want them to be careful and procedural? About
and if we're willy-nilly selling anesthesia, can I take 2 shots of anesthesia to go?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Bag it up.
By the way, I read that story from RochesterFirst.com.
All right.
Well, you don't mean the people of Rochester. You mean the businesses of Rochester, specifically medical businesses.
Yeah. Blue Cross Blue Shield is struggling, I guess.
How are they? Yeah, because I know mine. I think last time I checked, because I pay for the whole family, I am not kidding. It's about $6,000 a month.
It's health insurance is crazy.
Yeah.
$72,000 a year. And it covers 3 families, but still.
Right, still.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
I get they have more taxes about it, but Canada, I feel like, has that whole health insurance thing.
Yeah. Always have.
Yeah, pretty well set.
Hey, maybe Trump was right. Maybe they should be the 51st state, and we all go up there to get. I had a friend who played in the NFL, and he got his shoulder broken. He broke his shoulder in a game, and he went to Canada to get it worked on because he had nothing to do with surgery.
Yeah,
he was living. You
hear that a lot with athletes that
will
go to Germany or wherever to try to get ligaments repaired and things here where they're like, doctors in the U.S. Not all of them. Some of them are great, do great work, but it tends to be people going other places to get work done.
Yeah.
I just think I can't believe it. We've got, what's great about it in my life is if I would have read that story 20 years ago, I'd be raging angry right now. But I'm so used to people pissing all over one another. I had a nice conversation with a young Asian man and a woman this morning about can we all just calm down politically? And we all 3 agreed, relax for God's sake. This is a money thing. This is all about money. They don't care about you, me, anybody else. So piss on them. We'll take a break. Be right back. I would like to operate on Judd sometime without anesthesia. That would be phenomenal. Just stab him,
Hey, I'll watch.
Ouch, Tom. You sugar tit. It'd be great. It'd be wonderful. K&L Surplus and Ammo, your one-stop shop for all things firearm-related, located on Lake Drive in Circle Pines. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience, offers honest value and great prices with free shipping on a huge selection of handguns, shotguns, AR, and conventional rifles. Over the years, K&L has established the buying power of larger stores, and that's what keeps the cost down. If you're looking for a firearm or need to stock in some ammunition, we all do, all you have to do is go see my friend Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo on Lake Drive in Circle Pines or online at www.klgunstore.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they taught you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
My Pillow is glad to announce that their Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, and they won't last long. So I would say you should get them while you can. The famous My Slippers that haven't been on sale for over a year. Regular price of $119.98 are now only about half that price at $59.98. The 6-pack towel sets are back in stock, too, with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. From bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com, call 800-516-5146. Be sure to use promo code TOM to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, or the 6-pack towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. They're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025, plus all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 today and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Oh, by the way, I got to alert everyone, Tevin, AJ, Judd, I got to alert you. And you have to tell Phil this, too. Because Phil, whoops, we lost him.
It was like telling yourself.
I've had it with you, Tom. I'm leaving.
I don't know where he went. I don't know
What
where
the hell's wrong? What a nutcase.
I'll shoot him another invite. He'll be back in a second.
He must be driving through a tunnel.
No, I said one invite at a time. That's all you get. What
Yeah,
the hell are you doing?
There we go. I had some technical issues, believe it or not. I had a microphone issue where
You're a disaster.
I couldn't hear you. Well, I mean, most days, yes. Some days, no, but most days, yes. That's
Most days, yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Okay. I have to warn you one thing, because on Monday, Phil decided to hop on Wikipedia and read my Wikipedia page where I'm called a racist and a homophobe and everything horrible. I've been called that. But I want you to tell him and warn him for me.
Yep.
Because a picture was taken of me this morning because I ran into an old friend I hadn't seen in a while. And we were hugging each other, in the, I guess the lobby of a building is the best way to call it. Mm-hmm. So I just want you to know something. It might cause problems because I hadn't seen him in a while. We're giving each other a big hug and talking about how great it is to see you. Don't ruin my reputation. And don't tell anybody, because the guy who gave me a hug was black. So, I don't want to lose my reputation as a racist,
Yeah, your Wikipedia page would have to be changed completely.
It's going to have to now. There's no question about it. But it's
completely altered. And I mean, everyone knows that Wikipedia, they are the official purveyor of what you're all about.
Well, somebody believed that bullshit. Some people do believe it.
Of course they do.
It's ridiculous. But the big problem is, and I already talked to Tevin and AJ about this too. So far this morning, I've talked to 3 people, a woman, which I apparently never do, an Asian man, and I talked to and hugged a black man. So Wikipedia is going to be so pissed off at me about this, and I really do apologize.
I'll jump in there post-show and change it completely to say that Tom loves everybody.
Well, not everybody.
Okay, I'll jump in there and say Tom loves a lot of people, but he also might kick your ass. So
possibly
be very careful.
That's a possibility, no question about it. So what's the latest, Judd?
Well, the Wolves won their third in a row last night. They absolutely smoked the Clippers in Los Angeles. It was not ever close, so that was the good news. The Gopher basketball team lost to Michigan State, which is not surprising, so that's the bad news. And the Vikings obviously play Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday at US Bank Stadium, so that's the intriguing news. It's going to be very interesting to watch that. Now there is a huge game tonight. Oftentimes the Thursday night game can be very marginal to not that great, but tonight it is the Packers are at the Lions.
Yeah.
So if the Packers win, then that's great news for the Vikings, obviously, because while the Packers are very close to the Vikings, it would create a second loss, which is what the Vikings have. Packers, if I'm not mistaken, have 3. If the Lions win, I mean, it distances the Vikings a little more from the Packers, but that should be a fun game. That should be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, and Judd, you're somebody with the pulse of the crowd or of the fans, being one of the leaders at SKOR North. What are the fans that you've interacted with? How are they feeling? Because as a Vikings fan, I don't want to say "Go Pack, go." We need the Lions to win. So I'm very conflicted this morning. Should I be hating the Packers or cheering for them to beat the Lions so we can take over first place in the NFC North?
I think either result. Well, first of all, yes. I mean, if Detroit's only lost one game and you want them to lose, and they are on defense, they're decimated with injuries. So yeah, a Packers loss would not be awful. But I will say, whoever loses, I think you're going to be happy, because if the Packers lose, it distances them a little bit more in third place from the Vikings in second place. So, yeah, no, I think it's a very favorable game if you're a Vikings fan.
Oh, I think so. You can't lose no matter what happens. But yeah, if Detroit keeps extending their lead, that's not a good thing.
No, and but Detroit, like I said, the nice thing here is, well, it's nice if you're a Vikings fan. It's not nice if you're Detroit. They are on defense. They are decimated. Like, they have so many starters out. And so I could actually see a world where, with the way things are going, and if it starts to catch up to Detroit at all, where the Vikings rally, win the division. Philadelphia, which has won, I think, 8 in a row, is the top seed. But the Vikings, if they just win the division, at least in the first round, get a home playoff game. Because if the Vikings, here's the incredible thing, because they don't seed teams out, it's by division. So right now, if the Vikings were to, for instance, with their record finish in second, they would not only play in the first round with no bye, because there's only one bye now, Tom, but they also would have to go on the road and play, I think right now, they would play the Falcons in the first round of the playoffs, despite the fact the Falcons are 6-6.
God, the Falcons are 6, and they're that good. I didn't think they were that good.
Tampa Bay and the Falcons are tied for first in the in the NFC South, but the Falcons swept the Buccaneers, so they're technically on a tiebreaker ahead.
Unbelievable. That is amazing.
I'm rooting for a tie tonight.
Ooh, there you go.
I hate ties. I hate ties. I'm not good at math, and they screw up the math completely, because then it's a half a win, it's a half a loss. I never know what's coming or going. At least I can do the math on wins and losses and games behind then.
That's true. Yeah, there was a tie already this year, wasn't there? Or am I wrong? I thought there was a tie game.
Was there a tie this year?
Maybe
There's
not.
been a bunch of them now, because the OT has been cut down to from 15 to 12 minute sessions. So there have been a bunch of ties.
I don't think there's been one this year, but there was one late last season. So it felt like it blended in, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking. Who died?
I hate ties.
You hate ties.
I hate ties. I'm looking, none this year.
Yeah, and it looks like the Colts and Texans maybe in 2022 were the last.
Okay.
22? I thought there was one last year for sure. Wasn't it? Time is marching on. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, they got that right.
That's all I got to say. So, well, that's good. I mean, so far, basically, lately anyway, the sports news has been pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if the Timberwolves could win more, but, we'll see how it goes, right?
It's improving. It's improving. They were, a week ago at this time, they were a complete mess.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say it feels like at least things are on the upswing.
Right.
And the hockey team's been great.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. And the Vikings, I mean, hell, they're 10-2. So yeah, for as far as our sports scene goes here for the professional men's teams, it's pretty doggone good. Aside from your Twins, who I think have decided they're not going to do a thing.
Just give up.
It feels like it.
Well, it does. I mean, that's the Pohlads have given up on a team. They have never spent a lot of money on that team. Never. I mean, even though they won 2 World Series.
Well, they certainly aren't now. It's been all quiet, and so and I don't know. It's just, what's their marketing slogan for next season?
F it. Is that it?
Free beer for everyone is my idea.
Yeah, there you go. It is amazing, though. We were just talking about this morning, laughing about the fact, because we won't spend a lot of time on this, but I thought it said Minnesota, but it said Missouri. But in New York, Connecticut, and Missouri, when you're having surgery now, if the anesthesia runs out, they're not going to give you more, even if you're in the middle of the surgery. Like that right there. You see that? Tevin just went into the big one. There's no question about it. That's not a made-up story, by the way. It's in Rochester newspaper.
In the middle of the surgery?
Yep. If your anesthesia runs out, tough titty.
Yeah.
So that was announced on the same day that it's at 7 a.m. New York time. The UnitedHealthcare CEO was they came out and somebody else announced.
Good point.
I wouldn't have announced that yesterday.
In New York, by the way, they did announce it.
Is that not the most brazen thing?
Oh, I didn't
that assassination, is that not the most brazen thing you've ever seen?
I never met him. I've met a lot of people that worked at United Health, but I never met. Okay. But I never met him. He didn't look very old. How was he? Like
50.
40? Well, he's 50 because he looks like he's about 45.
He didn't look 50.
No, he did not. And they still don't know why this guy assassinated him, which he did, obviously. It wasn't just a street killing, by the way. No way.
No, the guy laid in wait. And if you watch, the incredible thing now is you can watch these things. Like they release, or I don't know if they release it or it comes out now, but the street cams, right? Because there's street cams everywhere. So you could watch the whole thing. There's somebody with a coffee in the corner to where the guy is drinking her, I think it was her, I'm not positive, coffee. And she sees him assassinate this guy, and you can see her just sort of move away. And he never looks like he wasn't going to shoot anyone else.
Yeah, right.
And then he got on a bike and rode through Central Park. I mean, it sounded like a cop show.
It was an e-bike, though, so he didn't have to make any effort.
And then I saw something else where some guy, Tom, I'm not joking, some guy was hacked the system so he can trace where because I guess they've got sensors, not surprisingly, where the e-bikes go.
Yeah.
So this guy's well, and here's where the bike went, and here it's what world are we living in?
You know what I'm hoping is the guy's stupid enough. He went to Starbucks, I think it was, and got a cup of coffee.
He did.
I hope he paid with a credit card.
Right. All this work planning this elaborate escape, but he wanted a double frap with extra whip.
Yes, he did.
There's video. There's video of him get at Starbucks too.
Yes. Yep.
Pictures because he's got he's got hood up and the mask on at Starbucks. But because it's post-COVID now, if you wear a mask, no one questions it.
Yeah, and it's cold, so it's like,
Yeah, and I mean, are you expecting somebody to do killing after or before they've had their coffee? Come on now, guys.
Well, no.
I can't kill anybody before I have my coffee.
Come on.
And how do you just go to Starbucks casually like you're going to work when you know you're going to take somebody out?
Yeah. That's absolutely true. The world is getting crazier by the minute, and I will say this again, I've been talking about it a lot lately. I have never seen the hatred level this high, and you can blame our political system and our news system for the whole thing. Our news delivery services are making people extremely pissed off, and so are our politicians, and you both need to stop. because stupid people are killing other people because of your rhetoric. Jesus.
Well,
it's
and
disgusting.
And but the issue is the news system now is not really the news system. It's all rigged to try to get ratings. And so it's not like impartial, because like when you talk about news, I think about Dan Rather. I think about Walter Cronkite, right? Like impartial, like here's what the news is. Here, these might be my thoughts on it, but here's the news. And the news channels now don't operate with those guidelines, or so they're really it's really basically like sports channels, but under the guise of this is still the news.
Yep, you're absolutely right. It is like a sports channel. You're 100% right. It drove me away from the news. Instead of making me choose a side, it drove me away from I cannot watch either CNN or Fox for more than a couple of minutes. They drive me nuts. I can't watch any of that NBC crap. That stuff is all terrible. MSNBC and CNBC and NBC and whatever. Tell the truth. How about that? Why don't we tell the truth to the people? What do you say?
I just stopped. I stopped because I can't take it. But it's crazy. But anyway, broad daylight. And the fact that I think the thing now too that's really that makes this more incredible now is the fact that everything is captured, by street cameras, by things like that. So like we can watch everything now.
Yes. Yeah, there's no way this guy's getting away with that. They're going to track him down, don't you think?
It's an interesting story because it depends on who, like, is this a kid who's like parent or grandparent got screwed and so he decided, to get payback? Mm-hmm. Is this a hired hit? Because if it's a hired hit and he rode off like that, my guess is he doesn't get away with it unless he's in got in a plane and left.
Yes, he in Bermuda by now.
Because that backpack had clothes.
Yeah.
So he had a backpack on. Mm-hmm. That backpack had a change of clothes.
Yeah, it did.
And he probably either put a baseball cap on or didn't put a cap on at all. So it's really, really interesting. But I mean, I guess my question is, in some ways it looked like a professional hit, but in some ways it didn't. So, and to your point, he then rode off on a bike. I will say I've not heard a lot of stories about hitmen who then get on an
e-bike.
An e-bike. I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny. An e-bike and ride away.
Yeah.
You should make a movie out of that, though.
Oh, this is definitely like documentary type thing we're seeing. And he even wrote on the bullets allegedly like depose, defend, and something.
Right.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh, then he's not a hitter.
On the bullet casings, he wrote something.
Okay.
Yep. I was like deny, depose, and defend.
Okay. Then it's not a professional hit.
You're probably right about that. He probably left fingerprints on the bullet casings anyway.
Well, no, he caught a bunch of them. They showed as the shell casings were coming out, he's catching them so that they're not on the ground. So I would guess what he left on the ground, he wanted there. But if he wrote on these things, that sounds like a statement more than like a professional hit.
Yeah.
You guys ever had a gun pulled on you?
One time.
You did one time?
Oh, no.
You know what's funny about that? I was going to say, I literally, as a joke, was going to say, I'm not going to ask Tevin about this because I know it's true. But I figured, one time, 16 years old, it was at 31st and Thomas Avenue North. I'll never forget it. Guy puts a gun to my head. And he's talking to me, but I can't understand him because he's hammered as hell, right? He's drunker than a sumbitch. Okay. But I'm thinking, there's a gun to my head. This is really great. And the gun is cocked, too, by the way. It's just, one of those situations.
Right.
And then I couldn't even understand what the hell he was saying. And finally I just said, well, it is what it is. And he pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. And he started laughing and walked away. There was never a bullet in the gun. He thought that was funny to put a gun in my head. Boy, there's a great joke, isn't it? So, Tevin, I mean, it's just... you people.
That's funny.
Why did they why pull a gun on you?
I was getting out of my car and just got robbed at gunpoint. It's probably just a random wrong place, wrong time situation. But I did get my stuff back because they ran around the corner.
Oh.
And I called some of my friends and we tracked my phone to like these guys staying over by like the I don't even know what the buildings are called, but like the crack stacks with the buildings with all the plastic. We tracked my phone over there, and he was coming out of some like gas station corner store, and I was like, oh my gosh, there he is. And so then we ran, like parked the car, got out, jumped him in the middle of the street, like put him in a headlock. They went and got my stuff, and we lived to tell another day. We were much dumber back then. Like I wasn't worth the Cinnabon gift card in my wallet.
Probably not. So what'd the guy look like?
He was some like young 20-year-old Somali kid. Something like that.
He's a Somali kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's quite the experience. Let me put it that way, right? Wouldn't you say it's a hell of an experience just having a gun at your head or pointed at you?
Oh, yeah, it's an experience you'll never forget, that's for certain.
No question about it. And then the guy starts laughing after he pulls the trigger, knowing there's... But the thing about it is, the only thing that concerned me about that was he was drunk. So did he really know there were no guns? I assume he took the bullets out, but drunk, he could have skipped one or missed one. Right.
Yeah. And like in my case, there was two guys, and like the first guy had the gun, and the second guy behind him was like, just shoot him and let's go. Just shoot him and let's go. And I was like, okay, everybody calm down. Here's my wallet. Here's my phone. We'll come back and find you because I can track it.
AJ, would you do me a favor and just label this section "A Dream Come True in America"? Just that'll be this whole section we just did. Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll make sure that gets in the show description.
I do hope someday that people really do understand the difference between being in an interesting neighborhood and living in Edina or Wayzata. They don't understand the big difference there. They really do not. Would you think, Tevin?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like now crime is starting to go out into the suburbs a little bit. People are getting more of an idea, but yeah, I think there's definitely two different viewpoints on life.
I love it, man. There's no question. Judd, any closing words, Pally?
No, that's all I got for you. So
what's this?
Packers and Lions tonight.
Okay, the Vikings play this weekend. Why don't you take a shot at who's going to win? I tied the two stories together. You see what I'm saying?
That's good. That's really good. Yes, absolutely.
You got the Queens winning this weekend?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank God.
Yep.
Oh, look at it. Jude's peeking in the window. Oh, Judd's on. I better listen.
Oh, Jude's been back there, I think, the entire time.
He just loves sitting back there and looking
around. That's great.
All right, Judd. Great talking to you, sir. We will talk to you next week.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Judd Zulgad, SKOR North, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Chris Egert will join us right after this.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch, and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Brett Paul from Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley. We've always had a professional sales staff on our show floors, but recently have added a few more to the arsenal. Neil Hadding was a salesperson at Valley for over 2 decades. Probably the best truck guy around. He left for a management position elsewhere, but decided to kick back and return to work with thousands of his old friends and customers. It's a similar story with Tim Condon. He spent many years in the sales and finance at Valley before spending time in Alaska, to the relief of many, many friends and customers who returned a few years back. Not a returnee, but a welcome addition to our seasoned staff is Charlie Fink. Charlie followed Neil to Apple Valley to head up the finance department. He is well known to many Twin City car customers after being in the business for over 3 decades. If you're looking for a familiar face or just a face of experience, visit one of these professionals at Jim Paul's Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or at valleycardealers.com.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Yeah, I was talking to the guys. I'm just talking to Tevin and AJ there. I was talking to the guy after we left, and it seems, I don't know, just the description of the shooter, the UnitedHealthcare shooting, it sounded a lot like Chris Egert to me. It sounded like that. Where were you a couple of days ago?
I'm 6'4.5". That person is 6'1".
Oh, that's a big difference. So actually, well, I can't even say it anymore. I used to be 6'1", but I'm not that tall anymore.
I told you I got a half inch added on the last time I went to the doctor's office, which is fantastic.
But they just like extended your prosthetic. It's not like
it wouldn't be accurate. That would only be like one side that would be
leaning to the
left. I'm telling you, it was the greatest thing. So 6'1" white guy. That's
6'1" white guy.
Yeah, in New York City. So
do they still have any idea why this happened?
No.
God, it's weird.
And boy, as I heard Judd, I heard you guys talking about it a little bit, but you can go way down the rabbit hole on this one, and it's I guess I'll say this. It's revealed a lot of people's personal feelings about the insurance industry.
Oh, for God's sake. The guy died. Leave it alone.
And I think it's weird because we live in the Twin Cities, and UnitedHealthcare and United Health Group are very highly regarded companies as a place to work for, as an employer. And I think maybe we lose sight a little bit because it's a hometown company, like how much vitriol there is about the insurance industry as a whole, like collectively. So when you talk about a motive situation, and there's lots of other theories floating around too, but just this sort of hatred for the insurance industry. This guy was an extremely wealthy guy. The writings on the bullets, the deny, defend, depose thing, that to me is definitely, was the person who shot him really making a statement about the insurance industry?
Yeah.
Or was that to throw him off, and maybe they killed him for a completely other reason, and the guy was just put that on there because he knew then everyone would go with the theory that he killed him because of the business he was in. So,
well, it's a possibility. It was just announced, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, if your anesthesia runs out during an operation, they're not going to give you any more unless you pay for it. Do you believe that?
And there's any number of things that, the insurance industry takes a lot of crap for. And there's no doubt about it. That specific, I want to point this out, that specific thing that was written on the shell casings, deny, defend, depose. There was a 2010 book out called Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It, called Delay, Deny, Defend. So it's on Amazon. I just looked it up. So it's got a very similar name to this book that was all about how insurance companies deny claims. And I don't know. That I feel like this particular story is going to be one that we're going to be talking about for years, not days, not weeks, not months, because it's got so many layers of complexity to it. So
it is disgusting. I know you got to go here, but I got to run this by Tevin, and I already talked about the fact. And by the way, Tevin, I forgot one time. I got a gun pulled on me one other time, which was when I was walking out the back door at 917 North Lilac Drive. I walk out the back door, and a guy puts a gun to my head and asks me why I'm banging his girlfriend. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, so he's got the gun the whole time. And I said, sir, I have no idea who you are. I don't bang your girlfriend. I don't know why she told you that or whatever the situation is. And eventually he realized that it wasn't me. So as he's walking back to his car, he's still got the gun in his hand and he's crying. I'm like, oh my God. You ever had a gun put to your head, Chris?
Not to my head, but I've had a couple times. Once it was guy pointed to his glove box and kind of gave me you need to get the F out of here or I'm going to reach into the glove box gesture. And then I think I might have told you this story, but when we moved to Seattle, we had a car transported out there and we went to pick it up at the car transporter and the guy pulled a gun on me when I walked into the car transporter place to pick up my car. I think I caught him like doing a line of coke or something. He was up to something, and I surprised him. And yeah, but anyway, I know you guys. Right. I'll let you guys roll. But I mean, be careful what you read about this thing. There's going to be a lot of unverified crap that's floating around for a while about this. So everyone be cautious in what you're believing.
I understand, Chris. Thank you very much, sir. Always a pleasure.
Bye, Channel 5's Chris Egert.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Is Chris ready to go?
Yeah, I've got Mr. Chris Myers on the phone ready to rock.
We'll just hop in. We do the break afterward. That'd be fine.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
I think so.
What do you think, Chris? Is it very unprofessional to just have us roll right into you, or should we take a break?
No, I'll follow you. I realize breaks help pay the freight, but I'll roll with you, whatever you need.
Hey, I can call you. I'll just, when I do call the client, I'll just say, Chris Myers, I used to talk to him on KQ all the time, and he just hasn't changed. He's very pushy. That's what I'll go with.
If you want, I'll read the spot for you if it helps out. Send it over.
That's phenomenal. That's a great thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, to work today.
Yes, that deserves a wow. Untold stories of legends and champions, their wins and heartbreaks. What a great title. Did you come up with that title?
Well, I had help with the actual framing, but the wow, that was an old Sports Center line I use.
Right.
You say, wow, what a hit, what a catch, or wow, so and we use it in our lives. But I got tired of saying just that. So when there was a great moment, I would say that deserves a wow. And it's a lot of those kinds of special moments.
The only problem I have with that, Chris, is every time I do something wrong, my lovely wife goes, wow. So there are
You're right.
different.
It can be used. That's true. I've had, a friend of mine, I was at a fender bender today, and I'm like, wow, ooh, sorry to hear that. So it can be a negative, too. It's one of those.
It could be a negative. So tell me about That Deserves a Wow, available now. Forward, by the way, by a big shot. I won't even say who it is, but you can.
Well, Bill Murray, who I became friends with, 30 years, but that long back doing the ESPYs when I was at ESPN, and I come from a big family. He does. I'm a big fan. I tried comedy, failed at it miserably in my early college years, but just had a connection and hung out, golf, families kind of interacted through time, and so asked him to do it. He's a tough guy to, when he says he'll do it, he'll do it. It's just a tough guy to track down, and he'll show up when you least expect it, but an entertaining. He's the kind of guy, and I think people would know this by watching, he'd want to hang out with even if he wasn't famous, which is, by the way, always been my approach in doing interviews. And I mentioned that in the book through the years, whether it's, starting with Ali or finishing with John Wooden or Brady or Mahomes in between, to just treat the regular guy like a famous guy and the famous guy like a regular guy. And I think things even out. So, but the book has a lot of those wow moments in sports that people will remember. And then I take you, inside out a little bit about why I reacted the way I did. It's a little Forrest Gump-like, and that I was thrown into some different spots that you don't expect, but people, I wanted to describe it to them, an earthquake, World Series, a bombing at the Olympics, those kinds of things. So I hope people enjoy it, but inspired is what I hope at the end of the day, if they read it, that they'll relate to it in a lot of ways.
Nothing wrong with that. Quickly, I need to mention that one time I interviewed both Ahmad Rashad and Bill Murray at the same time, because Bill Murray used to own.
Oh, that's cool. That deserves a wow. They were buddies. They still are. He's been at his golf tournament. Yeah.
I don't know that Bill still, but he used to own part of the single A baseball team over in St. Paul. Bill Murray did.
Yeah.
So I was interviewing him about that, and at the end of the interview, he goes, "So you don't worry about getting fired, do you?" I said, "No, not really. I don't really care about that. I've been through it before." But the other jealous part I have is there's a song out there called "King of the World" where I did an impression of Muhammad Ali, and the song did really, really well. But I never got to meet. Did you ever get to meet face to face? You had to have met Muhammad Ali face to face, I would think.
Yeah, well, that was, in the talk, and my roots are in radio. I got on as a kid with a deep voice, called in on a sports talk show in Miami Beach, and it was Chris from Miami, and then I'd call back as, "This guy's my voice, Duke from North Miami," and I'd talk more sports, and they finally called me out on it, but it got me hired on it once I got my license on weekends behind the scenes. But I was 16 and, kind of helping out, and I would do some reporting for them. And the sports director last minute said, "Hey, we need you to get over this afternoon to the Fontainebleau Hotel. Muhammad Ali's holding a press conference. We need to go there and ask a few questions for our radio show. We can't make it." So I had to leave my humanities class early and drive over there. And that was my first interview from a behind-the-scenes guy, but I had to ask a few questions. And so this is late 70s, early 80s, and he... he was like, I had long hair and the big tape recorder. He was like, "Hey, kid, you're not as dumb as you look," and that's going on. And it was amazing how his, I knew he was a great fighter, but his charisma in person, much more than what you saw on television. It just came through. It was incredible. And then, so that was my first, and that's the only time I really interviewed him at age 16. And after that, of course, I had a scare with Mike Tyson later. Which an interview face to face, but yes, Ali is the greatest. So that's cool that you actually had some involvement with a song that where you impersonated him. That was because Billy Crystal did the great impression.
Yeah, he did it. He did indeed. Yeah. But I will tell you this: Muhammad Ali. After that song came out, I received in the mail about those gigantic boxing gloves that are about 3 feet tall and about 2 feet wide. That's
for promotional events. Yeah.
Yep. He sent me one of those and he had autographed it, and I still have it. And 90% of people don't believe it's really him. And it's like, yes, he autographed the thing. I didn't do it myself. But it's great to have.
That was nice that he sent that over to you.
Just cool. A very nice guy. You must love at 16 years old, you knew what you were going to do. That's a gift from God right there, knowing what you want to do at 16 years old.
I think so. And you're driven, by a lot of things, the competition in sports, but the people in sports, and how they react to things. And so that interview process was part of what I enjoyed about the business. And then it's just following the path. Fortunate, I never really took voice lessons or anything like that. I happened to have a deep voice when I was a kid, so that helped the radio and then to get into television. But yeah, I watched people like Johnny Carson was, to me, a very underrated interviewer. So staying up late, he was a talented comedian, but the way he made people feel comfortable. Larry King, I listened to on the radio later. Him. In terms of interview style, with the OJ interview that I did live, which was the first one after both of the trials, the OJ Simpson interview, Barbara Walters, he turned that down because she would only tape it. He only would do it live because he didn't want anybody editing it. And so if you do an interview and you can tape it and chop it up and that type of thing, that's one thing. But I'm big on live interviews, especially in sports. I think they make a difference. But sports, and it's evolved over the years in so many different ways, from a decade at ESPN to now 20 plus years and still calling games with Fox. It's been, it's just a fun business. And then there's moments that go beyond that I think are a little bit crazy sometimes. But you got to be ready for anything.
Well, you do have to be ready for anything, and I can admit at this point, I usually wait till the end of an interview to see how it works. Because once in a while, I really like somebody, and then they come on and they got kind of an attitude or whatever. But I have always been a big fan of yours, and I'm an even bigger fan now after talking. Although I've talked to you in the past many, many years ago. I did a morning show on KQRS radio for 37 years, and you were on it a couple of times. But I love watching you, love talking to you, having a great time, and we can close with this, Chris. My favorite, It was on Dick Cavett show. Muhammad Ali was on the show just after Ken Norton knocked him out, I believe. And they show the video, and Dick Cavett says, My goodness, what a blow that was. I mean, I'd probably still be knocked out. And Muhammad Ali said, if you've been hit that hard, your beneficiaries will still be collecting. Which I thought was
I was going to ask you to do your Ali. And by the way, Dick Cavett, another great interviewer. That you watched it, I'm sure, growing up. Yeah. But those are, and I appreciate the kind words of the mention on the book. And we'll chat anytime. Doesn't have to be about the book. Tell stories, because I tell you how I met the meeting, my first and only meeting with Johnny Carson. You'll appreciate that.
Oh God, I love Johnny Carson so much. He was as good. Chris, you got to. Okay, we can just have you on like every Thursday. How about that?
Only if I get to read your sponsor, so that they're not upset. I want to keep you on the air.
Chris, you're the best in the business, man. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care. Have a good holiday. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, Tom.
Too. Chris Myers, ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a wow. He is one of the best of all time. I mean, don't you guys love him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's synonymous with, sports since like the 90s, probably late 80s. He's, you can't turn on a football game, the Olympics, whatever it is, without hearing his voice.
Like when all these like 30 for 30s or all of these like historical docs, like you can't watch one full start to finish without hearing some sort of Chris Myers like commentary or analysis or something. He's in every highlight package. Yeah.
Yep.
But that is true. Your beneficiaries will still be collected.
That's such a great line.
It's a great line.
So it just immediately puts down the the average fan thinks they can compete with a professional athlete. No, really kill you. Yeah.
You'd be dead. You want to take the break now, and then we'd have a couple of minutes, or you want to do a couple of minutes and then take the break and go right into Trey Kennedy?
I said, let's just knock it out now. Then that way, whenever Trey might call a couple minutes early, then we're ready for him.
Get it? He said, Tevin, let's knock it out now. Huh?
AJ's a professional.
Let's get those beneficiaries going.
Will be Chris Myers, man. I love that guy. He's just so good. Very, very good. And just a nice guy. That deserves a wow is the name of the book. I definitely will be reading that. We'll get him back on the air. Just a great guy. We shall be right back. Trey Kennedy is going to be with us in a couple of minutes. Got a new book out, How You Got Your Name, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to love this. Trey Kennedy will join us. We'll be right back a couple minutes right after this. My Pillow is glad to announce their Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They will not last long, so get them while you can. The famous My Slippers that have been on sale for over a year, regular price of $119.98, are now only $59.98. The six-pack towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of My Pillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. From bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. Go to MyPillow.com, call 800-516-5146. Be sure to use promo code TOM to save on all My Pillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, or the six-piece towel sets for just $29.98, but that's not all. They're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 today. And please do use promo code TOM.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. all the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch, and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank, with my friends at North American Banking Company? To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. A little news and information. He's going to be ready right at the top of the hour, correct?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that phone call. As soon as you see me set the phone down, we'll be all set.
All right, sounds good to me. I got to be honest with you. Maybe you guys know this already, I suppose, but I just love interviewing people. You find out all these things. And Chris Myers, I haven't talked to him in a long time. He was on the queue, but that was a long time.
How often would he come on that show?
He was on a couple of times, and
Nice.
I can't remember. I didn't even remember which era that was. After 37 years, you kind of forget what went where.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I could kind of hear him in the back with Art before the initial handoff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I haven't talked to Tom in however many years. I didn't know how often he was a guest on the show back in the day."
Did he really say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's very sweet. See, honest to God, everybody says, "Why do you still want to?" I am the next Sid Hartman. I will do radio or podcasting until I die at 100.
Yeah, well, because it's the best part is just the little moments that maybe aren't in the grand scheme of things the most entertaining or anything like that, but that little connection that you can make with somebody, and when he goes, Tom Barnard, and he probably like, who? Oh, that's right. Like I used to go on KQ, and you guys have that shared moment.
Yeah, it's great.
He comes on, and it's like old friends.
It's so sweet that people remember that. Does that mean I'm very weird? That's why I remember it.
I mean, it means you're something, because I mean he's probably met thousands of people and done thousands of interviews, and so for you to stand out, or anybody to stand out for that matter, is special.
I think it's just, well, that's why people just don't understand. Why do you still? I love doing this. This morning show, we're 1 hour into the show, and I just love it. I love every minute of it. It works out great for me. We've had some great laughs, talk about important things. I wanted to piss all over Anthem, Blue Cross, and Blue Shield. We didn't do that either. Mr. Kennedy, ready to go?
Yep, I think we got Trey on the line.
Hi.
Trey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Never better. Trey Kennedy, ladies and gentlemen, got a new book, How You Got Your Name, which I got to be honest with you, Trey, it lines up perfectly with me because I do know why my name is Thomas. I absolutely know why they named me that, but I want to hear your take on it first, and then we'll get to that at the end or something.
Okay, Thomas, you sound like a strong, nice male figure, so I bet your good old parents thought, hey, Thomas Jefferson, he's an American hero. Why would we not do that?
Close enough, but there are only 2 things you got wrong. You said parents. But, I'll tell you right up front, Trey, because I do want to hear your take on how you got your name. It's available now. I got my name because when I was born, I weighed 11 pounds and I was 23 inches long. I was a huge baby. And apparently they picked up 2 heartbeats, one from my heart, obviously, and another one from another body part. So they thought I was twins. And Thomas, of course, means twin.
Oh, I didn't even know that. So it's my name, and my son's name is Thomas. And we were both 10-pound babies. So, you got us beat by a little bit. But maybe we're related. I don't know. But my name's Trey because I'm Thomas the Third. I named my son Thomas the Fourth.
Phenomenal.
So, yeah.
Well, it's better than calling him Quad, though, I think, because they're going to just think of a muscle then. Don't call him, just call him Thomas. Trey, I like. Trey Kennedy is a great name, by the way. TK, you can go with. Trey, you can go with Kennedy. It's a great name. So you're covered. But I'm glad you didn't call him Quad. That would have been a mistake.
I know. We deliberated over all the nicknames, and you were like, you know what, let's just call him Thomas. We don't need to name him. Yeah, there's like Quattro or Quad or whatever else. We're not doing that.
You're not doing that.
The whitest kids. My son has white blonde hair. I'm Quattro Kennedy, man. That wouldn't work. So.
Well, being a 10-pound baby, me being an 11-pound baby, you do it. I did check one time because when I was very, very young, I thought, well, I must have been one of the biggest babies ever born. The heaviest baby ever born, unfortunately, did not live very long because the baby weighed 26 pounds. Jesus.
Yeah, all right. Well, you're not there, but that's prayers for that mother. My God.
Can you imagine that? Unbelievable. It all works out. So did it drive you because you are Trey and your son is number 4? Is that how you got your interest in how you got your name for the book?
Yeah, the book, How You Got Your Name, out this week, anywhere you get books. It's been awesome. It's charted on Amazon. It's been really surreal to support. How You Got Your Name it's really a play more on the spoofing the kind of baby name culture we're in. I think everyone knows like a distant relative or friend who named their daughter like Chrysanthemum or something and saying like, why do we do it? So it kind of pokes fun at that culture. I've had some viral bits about that. And then kind of the payoff and at the end is you get a chance to explain to your child how they got their name and why you named them the name that they have. So the illustrations are great. It's funny. It's silly. There's plenty of prompts to kind of keep it interesting and hopefully make it where the parent isn't ripping their hair out when they have to read this 50 times. It's supposed to be fun for the parents as well. I really want to make sure of that. As a parent, I get it. And so I think it turned out great. And my oldest son loves it.
So, Trey, do you have any relatives named John F. Kennedy?
I do not. We're pretty confident I'm not related.
Okay.
So, all my family is alive and well, which is nice. We're not cursed or anything.
Well, no, I didn't want you to be cursed. I just thought, the Kennedy name and all the rest of it, you got, I suppose you have to be very careful with that whole deal because you got Ted and you got John and you got Robert and you got all these names out there. But, growing up a Catholic boy, that Kennedy name is a very, very big deal in my family, man.
Totally. I'm sure we get that question a good bit and not related, but the Kennedys always seem to show up. I think people get it too when most the famous Kennedys are, they're talking about this or that with the country, and I'm promoting a kid's book that makes like poop jokes. So I don't think there's lots of
Well, see, that works. That works for me. I gotta tell you this, Trey, because this is very important in my life. But you affected my marriage this morning because I was talking about who was going to be on the show today, and I said Trey Kennedy's going to be on. He's got a new book about how you got your name, and my wife said, "Are you going to tell them they call you a pain in the ass?" Thank you for that, Trey. I really appreciate it. I got a shot from the missus this morning.
Yeah, wow! Right, first thing in the morning, just getting roasted by the wife. That's a heck of a woman. Love it.
Oh, she's a heck of a woman, all right. There's no question. She's far too good for me. Let me put it that way, Trey. It's just how it is. But is there, along with this whole situation, Trey Kennedy and your son in the same situation, number 4 out of the book, that love of your family really shows. It really shines to me when it, because I've known some families, like I said, I grew up Catholic, so you got, John the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I love how they just honor the name and honor the family that way. I do love that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad my wife was on board, and she loves the idea of doing that too. And it's cool because I knew my grandfather, the first, we were close, and he was a great man, and then my father, and so it is special. And I'm honored to be able to keep it going. I think it's pretty cool. And of course, my parents are thrilled.
No question. I love this, by the way.